Hello and welcome to Give and Take, the positives in life. And today's topic is intuitive healthcare miracles. And I'm so happy to have this wonderful guest with us. And she's going to introduce herself and tell us all about what she does. So thank you and welcome.
Thank you. My name is Katie Beecher.
Okay.
And I am a medical intuitive, a medium, a licensed professional counselor, and an artist.
Okay.
I call myself a medical and emotional intuitive. And what that means is that I'm able to read people's energy and tell them what's going on in their bodies.
Wonderful.
And also what's going on with them emotionally. And even more importantly, tell them why they're having issues or why the problems are happening in their bodies. And I work in a little bit of a unique way in that I'm able to do that before meeting with anyone.
Wow.
Just knowing their first name and their age.
Wow, that's amazing. So you would do consultations over the phone?
I do them in person or on the phone.
Okay.
I work with people all over the world. Sometimes it's video. But what I do is somebody would go to my website or to Facebook.
Right.
Let me know that they're interested. And then I would get their name and age. And then I do a 4-page report.
Wow.
And then an intuitive painting. Just based on, knowing what little I know about them.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yes.
And then with that information, I would send it to them a little bit, like about a half hour before we meet.
Oh, okay.
And then we have our meeting, which lasts about an hour and a half or so. And so we discuss the report, and I get more information during the reading as well.
Excellent.
And they can ask any questions they want. And then I also include follow-up. So that could mean additional questions. It could mean help finding practitioners in their area, more recommendations,
Sure, that's
things like
great.
that. I want people to be able to, get all the information they need and be able to
Right.
get help after.
Great. So now how did you come about such a wonderful gift?
I get that a lot.
Okay.
Well, up until about 3 years ago, I didn't know that I was able to do this.
Okay.
When I was younger, I could sense spirit and picked up people's energies, picked up people's feelings.
Right.
And it was pretty frightening. When you're a little kid, you don't really know what to do with that. So, and I didn't have anyone to talk to about it. Not the thing you bring up at the dinner table. So I really didn't, do much with it. And then I had, some issues of my own, and
Okay.
was able to find some people that I could talk to.
Great.
So that was really helpful. But and then I became a licensed counselor, and ended up doing a lot of intuitive counseling without realizing it.
Okay.
So then, about 8 years ago or so, my mom got really sick. And as people know, if you've ever taken care of a loved one or been
Right.
through any kind of crisis, it can change your life.
Sure.
So I was a fine artist and did my counseling, and nothing was really making sense anymore, and nothing felt right.
Right.
And so I read this book by a world-renowned medical intuitive. Her name's Mona Lisa Schultz, and she was doing a workshop, a 3-day workshop. And I
Okay.
thought, what the heck?
It's for me.
I'm going to do something different, and
Right.
it's interesting. And so her method was, give you a name and an age and tell me everything you can.
Right.
And I knew a lot about, we didn't know if it was an animal or a person or whatever, but so I knew a lot, and I was really shocked.
Right.
And by the end of the first day, she said, I don't know what you do for a living, but you should pursue this. So I took a year of online trainings with her and did some other trainings and practiced for a year, and I've been doing this for a few years.
Excellent. That's fantastic. It's so nice to be able to have such a wonderful gift and be able to share with people what you're picking up from them, their energy, or what they might be going through, any stress, because it helps having to go and get things done, and then literally sometimes there's not even the correct diagnosis.
That happens a lot. Most of my clients, I would say, have been to a series of doctors over years and either don't know what's wrong or have gotten treatments that haven't been helping or haven't been working. And so I'm either last resort or they hear about me from someone else. I get a lot of referrals from other clients and just, don't know what to do anymore.
Wow.
So I do not diagnose because I don't feel that's a responsible thing to do.
Absolutely.
But what I do is I will say, I'm feeling this, or I'm picking up a block in this area, or something.
Right.
My reports are very extensive. They're emotional, physical, family history, behavioral, relationship, run the gamut of things.
Okay, good.
But I will say, I'm picking this up, and they'll have the report, obviously, before we even talk. So then we'll talk about symptoms, and then I'll say, okay, so let's get you to a practitioner who can either verify, test, whatever. I work with other practitioners.
And that helps.
Yes. We find the answers.
Right. And so the process of elimination is that you're getting treated for this. I know because it personally happened to my mother. They had misdiagnosed her in the beginning, and it was causing her some issues that, for the diagnosis she has now was not good for what they were treating her. So it's important, because I remember the doctor said, why is it important? I said, because of the treatment.
Exactly.
It's important for the treatment, because you don't want to get mistreatment for something that you don't have.
And so many of my people, they say, I've been told that I was crazy, or that I'm making this up, or that there's nothing wrong.
Right.
And there is. It's legitimate stuff. So
Absolutely.
It's so frustrating, and they've given up hope, and they need someone who's really going to listen and take them seriously.
Right. So now, how many people actually do this kind of thing? That just came to me, the question.
I'm not honestly sure. I don't think there's a lot of us.
Right.
I know, from what I understand, there's not many who give written reports. That's for sure.
Fabulous.
And there's not very many people who do the symbolic paintings as well.
Right.
And the people ask me where I get my information from, and I go into a little bit of a meditative state and listen for information.
Right.
And it's from Spirit, from God, from the client's loved ones, because I have medium abilities as well.
Excellent.
So it's a combination of places. It's not about me. It's through me.
And so you understand that.
I have a lot of respect for that.
That you're just the instrument.
Yes.
And it's a gift, and it's not me.
Right.
And so the ego is not there.
No.
And so that's great.
No. If it ever is, then I'm doing the wrong kind of work.
Right. There was a question that you had proposed to me. It just it just came to me as far as Christianity, because some people might believe that this is against Christianity. So if you could go, just go into detail a little bit about that.
Sure.
Yes.
I do get that question because even when I was young, I had a fear of, if I let myself feel these spirits or let myself feel this energy, that I was going to pick up evil. And I did feel evil around me a lot.
Wow.
So you almost think, am I attracting evil if I do this work?
Right.
And I had to learn that I was protected, that God was absolutely protecting me. This work is absolutely healing. And I really feel like I'm listening to God as I do this. It's not coming from anything bad or evil, or if anything, it's very important for me to help people find their path and their intuition. And I don't want anyone listening to me or having me as their guru. I want to, this is a combined effort, I tell people.
So the true guru, the true guide, the Satguru is God. That's the true guide.
Absolutely.
No human being can not be a guide for somebody else.
Absolutely.
So you understand that. How beautiful.
And when you're not listening is when you get sick, and when you get into negative relationships, or when you have accidents, or that's when you get into trouble, when you're listening to others. So
And we have to understand we're just human beings. So what we are souls, we're spirit, we're energy, whatever word you want to use, that's all we are. And so God is that too. And so we are in the image of God, who is spirit,
Right.
who is energy, all those wonderful things. And so do you do anything with chakras or anything?
The chart that I think you guys have a copy of the charts that I fill out, the reports that I do.
Right.
Those are all based on the chakras.
Okay.
And it's split up into the parts of the body because there are different physical and emotional characteristics for each chakra, which is energy centers, basically.
Energy centered, yes.
I use some of the techniques that I was taught, and some I've thought up myself, like the body painting is something that I came up with myself. And then when I start the reading, I start with a first impression, and that's something that I came up with myself. It just sort of, the process sort of flowed.
Right.
But I find that by splitting it up into body sections, that it helps people to understand better, like what we're talking about and where, and because different parts of the body have different meanings, things like
different
that.
energies, yes, exactly. And the colors, they represent different colors.
Right,
and
exactly.
also chakras.
Exactly.
And so that's good that you include and incorporate everything. I think it's absolutely wonderful. You're so blessed to have such a wonderful gift.
It is a blessing. I really respect it, and I really am
good, and I can see
thankful
that.
for it.
And
I really care about what I do.
Good, very good. So now, how would you know to get in touch with someone like you, or because I've not really heard too much about it.
Right.
You hear about people who do readings and that kind, but this is completely different.
It is different.
Right.
I do spiritual consultations, and if people do want spiritual guidance or things like that, I do that as well. If people want help with their gifts,
right.
If people have kids who are very sensitive and empathic,
right.
I work with them too. So it's not just the medical intuitive readings,
right?
And it's not just for people who are ill or have issues too. It's people who want guidance in their path in life. So it's absolutely not just for people who are sick or anything like that.
Okay.
But to answer your question, I have a website. And I know you have that.
You can mention that. You can mention
it's katiebeecher.com.
Okay.
And then I'm on Facebook as well.
You could mention that too.
Katie Beecher. It's facebook.com, Beecher Medical Intuitive.
Okay.
Read it off here.
Okay.
And
your email address?
My email address is Catherine, KATHERINE, Beecher.com.
All right, lovely.
So all those things.
Katie Beecher.
Katie Beecher, yes.
So you want to talk about some of the paintings that you've done?
Sure. Some of the, I was talking a little bit about some of the services that I offer with the spiritual guidance and the counseling and things. And I've just started offering workshops, and one of the workshops that I'm doing is intuitive painting.
Oh, okay.
Intuitive art. And that's helping people to get in touch with their guides, with their intuition, with their body. I talk about being a medical intuitive and how people can get in touch with their bodies and how they can do a little bit of work with themselves. But then we actually create an art piece.
Lovely.
And I contact people. There's an example of it now. I contact people beforehand to make it a personal experience.
Okay.
That's one that I did. And I wanted to include things that were meaningful to me and words that were meaningful to me. I work in watercolor, but the workshops are mostly in acrylic. But you don't have to have any artistic ability at all to succeed in them. I make it really easy for people purposely. I bring a lot of materials. This is a piece that I did for a client. It was a soul painting. And I didn't...
Soul painting.
A soul painting.
I'm so intrigued about the soul painting.
It was almost like a reading in painting form. And I didn't know very much about her. Again, I wanted to reflect some things that were important to her. And I knew that she had this horse. Or actually, she took care of this horse.
Right.
So I made the horse the central focus. And then I didn't know anything else about her, but if you look very closely in the painting, and it's also on my website, you can see a little cat face, and there's a bird and flower, and the different colors even have meanings having to do with her personally.
Right.
So it's kind of it's a fun way of doing a reading. And
yeah. Just so much. So full. Very lovely. So now, so you work with everybody. Do you work with animals also?
I do work with animals.
Yeah, yes, you work with animals too.
I do.
Yes.
I've always loved animals, always felt very close to them. And I'm able to help people if their animal is having physical issues, or I help people if sometimes animals can pick up spirit in a house.
Yes.
More or wherever a lot faster than people can.
Right.
So if people's animals are acting strangely, I help them figure out why and who's there.
Right.
Things like that. But
Good.
I worked with this doctor who had a horse who had a lot of sort of strange horse problems. I don't know a lot about horses, but so I helped her to figure out kind of like some tests that could be done and things that the therapist could work with the horse about, and it's very fun.
So you talked about you do workshops and training. So what do you just not training workshops?
Workshops,
right? So what would a typical workshop look like?
Well, the last one I did, and I'm doing another one actually coming up in Westfield, New Jersey.
Okay.
Which isn't too far from here.
No.
We're going to talk about what it means to be a medical intuitive.
Okay.
Some of my process, picking up in how it feels in your body when your body and your intuition is talking to you. Because often we feel things before we feel things in our body before we
had that conversation.
Yes.
We know.
Yes, exactly.
And it's how to tap into that. And just say, you know what, I'm right. This is how I feel. I mean, I've gone through that with some, doctors, whatever, and I said, it's okay. I appreciate that, what you're saying, but I know this is my body.
Absolutely. And if you
body.
Don't pick up on that and keep ignoring it, it gets worse and worse and worse until you get really, really sick.
And you get years and years of build-up.
Right.
And so that years and years of build-up, you then have to take off all those layers of all that build-up. And so you want to make sure that you get there before you get to the build-up.
I work with a lot of clients with Lyme disease. And Lyme is an autoimmune disorder. By the time you get Lyme, it's it can be really hard to treat. Wow. And it's just an epidemic. So it's affecting a lot of people. But
so the Lyme disease is is it a tick?
It's ticks,
right.
It's fleas, mosquitoes, all kinds of things now.
Mosquitoes too. Wow, yeah. Fleas, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's it seems like all the time there's new information coming out about it.
Yeah.
And new strains.
They're morphing. All these,
yes,
you've got all these different things now. They're beginning to morph. And
yes.
so what's going to happen is we're not going to be able to treat these things that are morphing.
And
it's what we've done to the environment.
Exactly.
Is why these things are morphing.
So, I had it. I don't have it anymore. I'm very fortunate.
Oh,
so I
lovely.
use
That's great.
that experience. But, so I'm off topic. But
no, not at all. We're right on topic.
So I talk about how you could be sent signals and it affects your body. Then we do a guided meditation because I want people to connect with their guides, connect with their intuition in a non-threatening way and relax. And I want them to bring images into their artwork that are meaningful to them.
Right.
So I will have them bring photos of maybe loved ones or animals that have passed of themselves. And I bring tracing paper so that they can trace them onto no artistic ability necessary, I promise. And then I'll demonstrate.
Put that fear away.
Right, exactly. I don't want it to be scary,
Right,
you know?
right.
I'll demonstrate some easy techniques for people to show them some things they can do with the paint. And then just kind of, you know, talk about what different colors and meanings and symbols. I have symbols, books of symbols there. I help people interpret what they've done, things like that. But I want it to be significant to them so that when they bring it home, even if they don't finish it, that's okay. But when they bring it home, it's something that means something to them. And I want them to be able to reflect their guides or their loved ones, or, you know, increase their abilities by coming to the workshop.
I like when you say their guides, because that's what it is. It's
Absolutely.
their guide.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So.
And so how would you find out about the workshop? Would that be on your website?
Yes. You can contact me directly.
Okay.
As well. And it is on my website, I believe.
Okay.
I'm going to be having another one in Connecticut this summer too, but right now there's one.
We have to have you
April
come to
23rd.
New York. We have to have you come to New York.
That would be wonderful. I'd love to.
Yes, that would be wonderful. Yes. I mean, this is really very good. It's non-threatening. It sounds, and you know, with your energy, I can see you make people feel very comfortable.
I try.
So I would feel comfortable coming to your workshop.
That'd be great. Yeah, and I'm also doing some in-person readings in Westfield. I've done that for the past 3 years. And,
okay.
Because some people, you know, there's no difference in the accuracy, but it's fun to, you know, get it in person too and stuff.
So could you share a case study?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know,
yeah, I think I brought some information and sort of did a little bit of a composite for you guys with the reading. But there's somebody who that I can think of actually who had been going to doctors and different practitioners and things for years.
Right.
A lot of generalized symptoms, aches and pains and headaches and stomach issues. Not, you know, a little bit of short-term memory issues.
Wow.
Things that, you know, you could look at and say, that for, you know, 50, 60-year-old person, maybe I'm just kind of not as sharp as I used to be or something, you know, whatever. So, you know, but she knew that just something
was not right.
Wasn't right, you know, fatigue and just not okay. And she had been through some stresses, divorce, and a lot of my clients have kids with autism or other special needs, so that's really stressful.
I've worked with children with autism, special needs, so
so stressful.
I know that, yeah.
You know, so a lot of, especially moms, will say, well, okay, I have all this stress at home. Of course, I'm going to have physical issues. But, you know, it's more than that. There's just something else going on. So I kind of, you know, morphing a whole mess of people together, but kind of some typical studies.
Sure.
And
because you know what, there's the science, and there's also the spiritual aspect as to why somebody's feeling the way that they do.
Well, and an awful lot of my clients seem to be empaths. And what I mean by that is they have the ability to pick up on other people's feelings. We discussed that as well.
You discussed that.
And the more you can pick up on others' feelings, the more you confuse other people's feelings with your own, the more you aren't really sure what physical symptoms of your own are your own and what are other people's.
Right.
So we talk about what are the people around you experiencing. Is there family history of XYZ? Are there people around you who are sick that you may be picking stuff up? You know, what is really illness? What is all this other stuff?
See, I really believe that.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
You really have to sift through. I pick up sexual abuse. I pick up...
Right. And even someone's energy, if it's not positive...
Exactly.
You're feeling that.
Exactly.
that negative energy,
Exactly.
your feelings, like, why am I feeling this way?
Right.
And there's something, it's because of something or someone's
Right.
thoughts
Right.
that are not good for you. And so you will
Exactly.
pick up, if you're very sensitive,
Right.
you will pick up on that, yes.
Right. So it's teaching people to sort out, like almost put up a shield, you know, what is mine
Right.
and what's everyone else's. And so we would look at, you know, with this person, I was picking up a lot of autoimmune things. And I was picking up, there's a genetic abnormality for how people process folic acid, for example, that people who have a lot of stomach issues or sometimes autoimmune diseases or sometimes even autism or things like that, it makes it difficult for people to detox.
Right.
So if you're really like sensitive to chemicals and smells and things like that, you can also be sensitive emotionally. So there was a lot of things going on with this person to look at.
The overall picture of the person, holistic
Very much.
approach, yes.
Very much. And everyone's different. You really have to approach
Absolutely.
every person differently.
Yes.
And then I look at what supplements are you on, what medications are you on, could any of these be causing what you are experiencing, what's interacting.
Right.
You really have to, you know, dissect everything.
Yes.
And so with this person, I did suspect some Lyme and viruses and co-infections and some autoimmune things, and we were able to find a practitioner in her area who would work with Weird Me. And so...
Please stop saying that. There's nothing weird about you at all.
Well,
Today's the last day you stay.
So funny. I know, I haven't said that too. I do contact people in their area and say, this is what I do.
Right.
Would you be willing to work with me? So we were able to get her tested and verify that what I was picking up was accurate.
Good, good.
And actually, one other thing I should mention, if I have time.
Right. We have about 2 minutes.
Okay. There's an article on my website.
Okay.
That was published in an international peer-reviewed journal.
Oh, good.
That verified my findings.
Excellent.
By physicians and medical
Peer
records.
review.
Things like that.
Yes, good. Peer review is
Yes,
good.
exactly.
Excellent. So if you had any last things to say, what would you say, Katie, to the viewers?
I think that it's to really look at every single thing you do because it will affect your emotional and physical health. And to really listen. The best thing you can do for yourself is listen to your intuition. The best thing you can do for your children is to teach them to listen to their intuition.
Because at that young age, it's at the highest.
Absolutely. It will. They're less apt to be a victim to peer pressure and to get sick and to be in abusive relationships and also to take care of your own stuff. So you're a good role model.
That's just such a wonderful thing to say and good advice to give to give a child that foundation so they don't have to go through any of those things that you mentioned. And so to let them tap into their intuition. So they need to come to you, Katie, so you can give them that great foundation. So now I'm going to wind down. So I want to thank you for coming on the show, Katie. This was wonderful.
Oh, thank you very much.
And I know you're going to you're just going to really touch somebody or a few in what you had to share. And so I'd like to end by saying your level of consciousness is the gateway to your future. Thank you.